Hey, Daan here, and in this video we are going to talk how to get more high quality leads from the Google Ads for your accounting firm in a way where you do not have to change anything about your copy, your landing page, and it's pretty easy to set up. And it's actually also very scalable. And I actually think that if you are running Google Ads for your accounting firm and you are not using this very easy to use strategy, you are missing out. So before we dive in, I will quickly introduce myself. My name is Daan and I'm the owner of Accounting Kings, where we work with accountants to help them get more high quality clients. And currently we are spending around $50,000 every month on ads for accountants. Is Google Ads, it's also Meta Ads. And we have worked with more than 100 accountants all over the US, but also in Canada, Australia and the UK to help them get more of those high quality clients. So before we dive in, I quickly want to make sure that you understand that the following strategy, it requires a little bit of a technical background in terms of you need to connect a few software with each other. I'm going to share my screen at the end of the video just to actually show you how to do this, and I promise you it's really easy to do. So in this video, I'm going to discuss offline conversion tracking. And offline conversion tracking is where if you generate a lead through Google Ads and you upload this lead back into Google to tell them this is a qualified lead. And the reason this is extremely important is because most of the advertisers, they are running the Google Ads and they at some point switch to max conversions. This is where you're going to tell Google, we have enough data right now. Now do not get us the cheapest clicks, but get us the cheapest conversions. And the downside to switching to max conversions is that Google is going to optimize the bidding to get the most amount of conversions possible. And you may think, well, that's the whole point. I want to get as many leads as possible. But the thing is, the algorithm can start optimizing for the clicks that are more likely to convert and are just the cheapest clicks. So for example, if you are using keywords like business accountant near me and you tell Google, I want to get as many conversions as possible, then they probably are going to bid on clicks that are very cheap, that are still typing in business accountant near me, but they are cheap because they are starting businesses or they're in the research phase of starting a business. And of course, if those people are going to optimize, it's cheaper, they will get more conversions, but it's not actually a high quality lead if you are looking for a business that is doing like $1 million every single year. So the reason why offline conversion tracking is very important is because if you are going to optimize for conversions, which of course is something you want to do, then you actually also need to tell Google which conversions were quality conversions and which not, because otherwise you are going to get excuse me for French, but you will get a shit ton of conversions which you actually don't even want to talk to. Now with offline conversion tracking, Google is now going to bid more on clicks that are more. Now with offline conversion tracking, Google is going to bid more on clicks that are very similar to the offline tracked quality leads. So let's say that two people are typing in business accountant near me, or can even be online business accountant. You do not know if this is a person that is just starting a business and is just kind of shopping around, or if this is actually a business owner that is very established, organized, has a lot of transactions, and that you can charge like $2,000-3,000 every single month for, right? They do the same search, they indicate that they both have a business, but you do not really know which person you actually want to bid more on. Now, if you have a couple of qualified leads and you are going to tell Google with offline conversion tracking, this was a qualified lead, then Google is going to skip the people that are very similar to the other conversions that were not qualified, and is going to bid more on the clicks that are more similar with the qualified people. So now how does Google know this? Very simple example. Let's say two people type in business accountant near me, and one group of people is looking for Toyota and the other group of people is looking to buy Bentleys. Okay, it's this kind of like very broad, but it's the same thing. Google knows everything. If you look for booking a 5-star hotel versus a very cheap Airbnb in the middle of nowhere as a vacation. If you book first class tickets versus just economy, Google knows this, and you will of course find that there are certain patterns with those qualified leads, and then Google will pick up on this. They will see, okay, well, this searcher made the search accountant near me, and they actually bought a Bentley and first class tickets, just like the other qualified leads. So let's bid instead of $10, $15 to get this click because this was a qualified lead to this company. That's kind of how it works. Now, another reason why offline conversion tracking is very beneficial, not just because you will get more qualified leads, but also because Google will actually favor you a little bit more. So, of course, Google knows that it's all about data. And if the users of Google, if the advertisers on Google are actually going to share data with them, so they are going to tell, hey, this user of Google was qualified, then of course this will give Google more data to even deliver an even better service to their clients and their advertisers. So Google will actually give you a little bit of a favor in certain bids because they actually know, okay, well, this advertiser over here is spending the same for this specific click as the competitor of his, but they are actually uploading data back into our platform, which will then make our product better. So you know what, let's give them this click instead of the competitor, because we know that we will then get more data and can deliver a better service in the future. So you will also get a couple of benefits from Google itself. Now the thing is that with offline conversion tracking, the cost per clicks will slightly go up. And that's actually a good thing, because if you get less clicks and therefore also less leads, but the lead quality is actually better, you will have to spend less time talking with tire kickers. You do not have to have the cost of sending SMS messages and emails, and you do not have to pay a person or your own time to actually call up the leads that didn't schedule a meeting. And even if they schedule a meeting and maybe you give away a free consultation, and you give away the free consultation to low quality leads, and they are actually wasting maybe even an hour of your time every single week, which is also an hour that you can spend on serving your clients, right? So your cost per click will slightly go up. Why? This is simply because they are going to bid more on certain clicks. And your cost per lead may also increase a little bit. It's not always the case, but it can be. But it's actually a good thing because you will make more money per lead. So the ROI will be higher, but you will also spend less time but you will also spend less time and money on the leads that are not qualified. So it will not only save you time, but it will also save you direct cost of talking to leads, of paying for software to nurture leads or a person to nurture leads, which is something that a lot of the marketeers and also accountants that do the advertising and marketing themselves don't realize. They only look at the ad spend, but they don't look at how much time is it actually costing me to run this system, to nurture the leads. Another great thing about offline conversion tracking is that you will actually create a positive feedback loop. So let's say that you have some data and you switch to max conversions, and then you are getting a couple quality conversions and you start the offline conversion tracking for qualified leads. Now, of course, in the beginning it will be a little slower because there's less data. But the more data you have, the smarter the bids will become. And of course, the smarter the bids and the more qualified leads you have, the more data you can feed in the algorithm, the smarter it gets, the more qualified leads, etc., etc. So at some point, if you have a lot of qualified leads in your Google account, it's only going to get you these types of leads, which of course will then encourage the algorithm even more and more and more. So that is why it's extremely important that if you are running Google Ads, you implement this offline conversion tracking from the start, because you need to give it a little bit of time to actually get enough data to do the smarter bidding. So you can kind of compare offline conversion tracking with a fishing net, where let's say that you are fishing and you want to only catch a certain fish. Can actually now tell the fishing net or whatever you do to get those fish to only get these types of fish. So you may get less fish, which is totally fine because you only want to catch a certain types of fish. And you are now going to optimize for these types of fish. So you can kind of see it as that way where you are just going to tell the system and the way of getting the leads to only get a certain type of lead. Another amazing thing that you can actually do with offline conversion tracking is not only tell Google if a lead was qualified or not, you can also actually tell them the value of a certain lead. So let's say that you know let's say that you have a client, right? And you are promoting cleanups and they signed on for a $5,000 cleanup project. You can now tell Google, okay, this person is worth $5,000 to me, which if you then have these types of leads more often, you can actually tell them, okay, well, optimize for these leads. And then instead of optimizing for qualified leads, it can now optimize for ROI, which is the next step. So this requires a little bit more time and tracking on your part, which of course, yeah, you only just, so this of course requires a little bit more time and tracking on your part. But if you do know the value of a certain lead and you can communicate this to Google, you are going to put the whole offline conversion tracking on steroids. And what you can also do, if someone bought monthly services and you know the average retention of a client, then you can actually tell them, okay, well, they are spending $1,000 every single month on our services. Average retention is, let's say, 3 years. So this client is 36,000 per year as value in total. 36,000 in total lifetime value. So the more data you give Google, the better. And of course, if you give them data on what the person is spending, that's even more data, and then they are going to give you even more favors. Now, in terms of the number of leads that you want to get to actually communicate to them and to let Google do the optimal optimizing, is about 15 of those qualified leads. Doesn't mean that if you only have one that you cannot upload this. That's actually something that you do want to do, but it's most effective if you have 15 of those qualified leads, because then you can actually tell Google, hey, do not optimize for form fills or phone calls, only optimize for these types of leads. And then of course you can still track the phone calls and everything, but in the campaign you can then tell Google, do not optimize for these conversion events, only optimize for the qualified lead conversion event. So if you are not implementing offline conversion tracking, you are leaving serious amounts of money on the table. And what I will do now, I will share my screen. I will actually show you how I do the offline conversion tracking setup with an actual client of mine and the software that we use. So we use the software High Level, Go High Level. Maybe you've heard of it. It's extremely easy how you can actually set this up. And yeah, I will show this to you right now. Okay, so we are in the Google Ads account of a client of mine. And you can see over here the qualified leads. Okay, this is the offline conversion tracking. And with this example, we were tracking the people that actually became clients. This client is charging around $1,000 per month for the services. So yeah, that's definitely a lot of value that Google has with the data that we are sharing. So this is what it kind of looks like. You can see over here, okay, well, these were the qualified conversions that we had from the actual campaign. Now, what you need to do is you need to go to your goals and your summary. Then I will scroll down. I can show to you over here. So we have the qualified leads over here. What you need to do is you go to create conversion action. It's actually very easy to do. And you do need, with this example, you do need the high level software. Now, what you then do is you do just the offline conversion tracking. So I turn all of this off. I say qualified or converted leads. You can do whatever you want. Save and continue. Oh, you actually need to click over here. So add data source later. This is something that you really need to make sure you click on. Because they have direct integrations, but that's not something we want to do. You just click on finish and that's it. Like that's just easy as it gets, essentially. And then you can see over here, like with the upload, you can click on it. Then with the settings, you just name the conversion. So over here, I don't use a value if I'm not tracking the actual ROI. So of course, if you are selling a service and the pricing is the same exact for everyone, which I doubt it is, but let's say it is, then you can use the value.
I count this as 1. Otherwise, you are going to track every conversion instead of the single one. So let's say that you have one person that converted 10 times, just they filled in the form 10 times, then you get 10 conversions. Well, of course, it's just one person over here. And then you set this to 90. This is the biggest frame possible. Okay, so that's the Google side of things. Again, it's extremely easy, as you just saw. And then you go to high level. So again, you need a high level account to do this. What you then first need to do, you go to your integrations over here, and you need to connect your Google account, because if you connect your Google account, the same one that you have with your ad account, then Google is automatically going to track the Google Click ID. And a Google Click ID is essentially an ID that Google gives to every person that clicks on your ad and converts. Okay, so you need to make sure that you have conversion tracking set up properly. You need to be able to put in the Google tracking code on your landing page so that you actually can track which person is converting. So assuming you have all that set up, now you just simply follow the steps. I will not do this right now because then you see all the client information, but you simply connect your Google account, you connect your ID with high level, so that high level can actually gather the Google Click ID, and it can actually also upload this again to Google. Now, if you have connected the right account, you click on go back, go to an automation, and you want to set up an automation like this over here. Okay, so Google Ads account. So essentially what you do is you just go over here, you just type in Google Ads and the conversion. Now you see over here, this is the one that we just created. Just the currency and conversion value, I typically just use 1. And then what you can do, if it's all set up, you can go to a contact and add them to this automation. So I will not go to the contacts now because then you can see all of the leads as client generated. But if you are a go high level user, essentially everything that you can just do is you just click on contacts, you open the contact and you can add this person to the automation. And then if you check a day later, if you go back over here and you go to the offline conversion tracking, you will actually see, hey, there's actually someone added to this conversion over here. That's just literally how simple it is. Now, what I've also done with the other clients that I have is we have a pipeline, and every time that someone schedules a second appointment, is in the follow-up stage, or became a new client, we add them to this workflow. So then we can actually tell them, okay, these were the people that were qualified because they scheduled a second appointment. So we talked to them before and they are in the follow-up stage. And then we have another automation that you can actually set up where you trigger the automation if they became a new client, so that you can actually track the conversions. So that's essentially how it works. It's an extremely valuable asset to have in your arsenal if you want to get the best results with the Google Ads. You can also, by the way, implement this for Meta Ads. The reason I'm not doing Meta Ads in this video is because Meta Ads, the lead quality for Meta Ads, you can easily change this by just changing the first couple of sentences from the body copy of your Meta Ads. So if you have your body copy, and in the body copy, it currently says, business owners, are you tired of huge tax bills? We give a free tax saving session. And you see, okay, well, I just get a lot of people that just don't make money. Then change the first sentence to business owners doing $500,000 per year. Are you tired of huge tax bills? And then also change the body copy later on where you tell them, okay, well, if this is your tax bill, let's say if you are paying $100,000 in tax, we will help you get that down to only 30,000 as an example. And this way you are weeding out a lot of the people that are not making that money. And then of course, the algorithm is going to and then of course you will only get leads that are making, let's say, $500,000 per year. And the algorithm is going to optimize that way. So it's you can kind of implement offline conversion tracking and the optimization part with Meta by just changing the copy and the creative, by calling out the types of people and by talking about stuff that the wealthier individual, if that's the person you are targeting, is only going to resonate with. So yeah, I really hope that this video was valuable to you. I know that it's probably only going to be helpful to people that are doing the Google Ads already, but this is just a very easy to implement thing that can definitely long-term help you out a lot. So if you learn something from the video, make sure to like the video so the algorithm will show you more videos like this. I'm going to also upload more regularly again, so make sure you subscribe to never miss a video. And if you have specific questions, just leave them in the comments. So thank you so much, and I will see you in my next video.